How goes it, everyone? I am the world famous Fat Kid, and today we are doing our Week 17 picks for the NFL season 2023-24. That's a little extra, but whatever. We got a lot of playoff implications this week with only 2 games left on the year. Couple teams still vying for that number 1 spot. Actually, 3 teams in the AFC, potentially 4 in the NFC. It's pretty tight races. And speaking of the AFC number 1 seed, we are starting with a matchup with at least one team in the running. New Jersey Jets going up against the Cleveland Browns. And with Flacco at quarterback and that dominating defense, I'm taking the Browns. It's crazy. Browns are still in the running for the number 1 seed. I believe they have to win out, and Baltimore has to lose at least one, which I think their final game. Okay. I believe Baltimore has to lose at least one, and Miami has to lose at least one. I'm not sure all the tiebreakers. All I know is Cleveland is still in the race for the number 1 seed, which would be kind of silly with everything that's happened to them this season. But I'm taking them on Thursday Night Football. Cleveland beat the Jets. So then we're going to go to Monday Night Football on a Saturday. Detroit Lions taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Detroit clinching their division. Dallas coming off of a heartbreaker against Miami. Both of these teams are in the running for the number 1 seed in the NFC. Obviously, there's a little bit of help. Cowboys need to win out. Philly needs to lose out. Plus, Dallas needs help from whatever. They're both in the running. That's the point. Detroit, I think, has the easier road. And I think with this, Detroit wins. Their offense, the offenses are kind of similar. I feel that there's more weapons on Detroit's side. Defenses, you don't know which one's going to show up for either team game to game. I got a feeling about the Lions. Not only are they making the playoffs for the first time since '93, I think they're shooting for that top spot. They're not going to be content with just making the playoffs. They want to make a statement. Now, if they're out of running for the number 1 spot in Week 18, maybe they rest some starters, but I don't know. They're hosting at least one playoff game. So then we're going to move to the early Sunday window, and we're going to go with, again, a matchup of potential number 1 seeds in the AFC this time. Miami Dolphins going up against the Baltimore Ravens. This essentially is the number 1 seed. If Baltimore wins, they are the number 1 seed, whether Cleveland wins on Thursday or not. Baltimore wins, they are the number 1 seed because they would have the heads up against Miami. No, because the Browns still could. Whatever. This is a very important game, okay? There's a lot of tiebreakers that I'm not going to delve into right now. This is a very important game. With that being said, Miami struggles against good teams. Yes, they beat the Cowboys this past weekend. I don't see them beating the Ravens. Not this week. Especially since it's in Baltimore. So, I'm going Ravens. I don't want to, but I'm going Ravens. Then we go AFC East matchup. New England Patriots, Buffalo Bills. Both teams coming off of wins against AFC West teams. both with late field goals to win their games. Only one of them was expected to win, and that was the Bills. I'm going the Bills. The Patriots are a I'm not going to say it. They're a bad team. We're just going to throw that out there right now. They're a bad team. Maybe Bailey Zappi helps their offense get a little bit better, but Bills should win this. Maybe not handily because it is a divisional game, but I see them getting the win. Next, the Atlanta Falcons going up against the Chicago Bears. Falcons putting a beating on Indy last week. Indy's actually a decent team. Atlanta, they're not, they are, who knows. Chicago, a bad team beating a bad team. Again, I said that already. Beating up Arizona. I'm going with Chicago. Chicago seems to have the better offense. It's more consistent. The defense has the potential to be better. And Chicago is playing at home. That's my criteria. You get a little bump when you play at home. But, I mean, most people give that bump. It's nothing new, is what I'm saying. Okay, Tennessee, Titans, Houston, Texans. Can I sound more robotic? No? Okay. Houston getting beat by Cleveland. Tennessee getting beat by Seattle. CJ Stroud should be practicing this week, so that's a good sign that he'll be ready to play. If CJ Stroud plays, they win. I said this last time they played 2 weeks ago. Week 15, is that what? Yeah, week 15. If CJ Stroud plays, Houston wins, and then he didn't play, but they won anyway on a late field goal. I'm rolling with Houston. I think they are the better team. Tennessee, who knows what they're doing? Who knows what's going on with them? I don't. But that's who we're rolling with. Houston. Okay? Okay. Next, Las Vegas Raiders going up against the Indianapolis Colts, with the Raiders coming off of a huge upset win against the Kansas City Chiefs on Christmas, and the Colts losing to the Steelers by quite a big margin. So, did I really just say that? It wasn't the Steelers, you doofus. It was the Falcons. Steelers. Never mind. I'll dive into that later. I'll figure out if they even played this year. I'm pretty sure they did. Anyway, whatever. My brain's fried. Leave me alone. Vegas, Indy. They've got some history the last few years. And I got to roll with my Raiders. I mean, the defense has been playing so much better since Antonio Pierce took over. The offense still needs a lot of work. The Colts, kind of up and down. Minshew could throw for 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, or he could throw for 210 and 3 picks. We don't know. Zach Moss is out. Jonathan Taylor, still not 100%. I don't even know if he played last week. I think he did. But either way, I think the Raiders have the edge. They're playing in Indy. It's a dome. So weather's not really going to be a factor. I got to go with the Raiders. I'm going to say it again. I'm going with the Raiders. Next up, Carolina Panthers, Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville is playing for their playoff spot. They are in a 3-way tie with the aforementioned Colts and the Houston Texans. They're all 8-7, but Jacksonville holds the tiebreakers at the moment. They need to beat the Panthers. Nobody should lose to the Panthers right now. That's in a playoff race. Nobody. Jacksonville should win this one. Maybe not handily because they've been all messed up. They've been all over the map. Who knows what's going on with that team? But they should at least win by 9+. I hope. Next, Los Angeles Rams going up against the New Jersey Giants. Rams with a big win on Thursday Night Football up against the Saints. Giants trying to make a game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Giants they're out of playoff contention. Rams still fighting. They're actually in the 6th spot right now. I think the Rams do it. I think the Rams beat the Giants. The Giants' defense is decent. The offense, not very good. Tommy DeVito has been better. I think I don't know. I think I read something. Either he's hurt or he got benched. I don't know. I don't follow the Giants. Whatever. I think the wide receivers and Kyron Williams and Matthew Stafford will be too much for the Giants. Rams win. Boom. Next, Arizona Cardinals going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles need a statement win in these last 2 weeks. They're going up against Arizona this week and the Giants next week. They have to beat those two easily. They struggled last week against the Giants, but they still got the win. The Cardinals, this should be a cakewalk. We'll see. But I'm taking the Eagles. It should be a no-doubter. That should be my lock of the week. You know what? I'm putting the lock on. Whatever. Philly wins. Next, we got New Orleans going up against Tampa Bay. Saints, Bucks. Bucks beat the Saints earlier this season. They're both playing for the division. Ooh, Atlanta even jumped the Saints? I didn't know that. Well, I do now. Saints still have a chance to make the playoffs, win the division, but not if they lose to the Bucks. If they lose to the Bucks, they're out. They're done. And I think that's what's going to happen. Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Godwin, White. The defense has even been playing very well. Bucks win. And I believe with that, if I'm right, Chicago beats Atlanta and Tampa Bay beats the Saints. Tampa Bay wins the division. Next, San Francisco 49ers going up against the Washington Commanders. Niners losing to the Ravens on Monday Night Football, and the Commanders making a game out of it against the Jets, but still falling short. The Niners have to win this game. They have to bounce back. They have to get momentum. They are the number 1 seed right now, and if they want to keep it, they have to win this game. Period. End of story. Moving on. After I tell you I picked the Niners, now we move on. Late Sunday games. Pittsburgh Steelers, Seattle Seahawks, both still in the playoff hunt. Pittsburgh is in a mess of people fighting for a couple playoff spots. Seattle, right now sitting the number 7 spot. I think Pittsburgh improves their chances for the playoffs, and they get the win in Seattle. Seattle struggled against Tennessee. Pittsburgh dominated a very injured Cincinnati Bengals team. But outside of that, Pickens had a very good game with Mason Rudolph as quarterback, their 3rd-string quarterback. Maybe that's what Pittsburgh needed. I don't know, but I'm picking them to get the win. Next, AFC West matchup. Los Angeles Chargers going up against the Denver Broncos. Chargers barely losing to the Patriots. And Denver, stop, strike it, reverse. Los Angeles Chargers losing to Buffalo, and the Broncos losing to the Patriots, both by field goals. I already mentioned this earlier in the video. Chargers, who knows who they are. Eckler isn't playing very well. Stick is a backup quarterback trying to do his best. No Keenan Allen. They're not a good team. Denver, who knows their identity. But I think Denver... Oh, breaking news. As I am recording this, Broncos are going to bench Russell Wilson against the Chargers, and they're going to start Jarrett Stidham. I'm going to come back to this game. I'm going to come back to this one. Okay, we're going to skip that. Cincinnati, KC, both playing for the playoffs. Cincinnati's on the outside looking in right now. KC trying to win the division, the AFC West. If they win this game, they've got it. But it's going to be a close one. It's going to be interesting. They're both struggling offensively, but KC's got a better defense. I'm going with the Chiefs. Finishing up with Sunday Night Football, Green Bay Packers going up against the Minnesota Vikings. Again, another one of those sitting outside looking in, potentially in the playoff hunt. Whoever loses is out. And I think that's going to be Green Bay. Even though Minnesota just lost Hawkinson, they've been playing better. Green Bay struggled against the Panthers. Who knows what's going to happen with that? I'm going to say Minnesota wins. You know, I'm going back to the Chargers Broncos. Even with this revelation that it's going to be Stidham starting, I'm going to stick with the Broncos, so that I don't have to mess with anything. And I think the Broncos are better than the Chargers right now. So right here, these are my picks. That's who I got for the week. Argue with me if you want. That'll be fun. But until the next one, when you find out who I got right, who I got wrong, take it easy. And it is what it is. Later.